In honor of their remarkable accomplishments and much more, North Star is proud to present Faith in New York with the 2015 Frederick Douglass Award. Please join me in welcoming the representatives to the stage.
Good night. My name is Onleilove Alston. Yes, my name is a phrase. And I am the executive director of Faith in New York. With a name like Onleilove, where else did my parents expect me to end up? And so I want to give a heartfelt thank you to the North Star Fund. I also want to thank Arva, who was the former director of Public Allies New York, one of the organizations that was critical in me getting on this path to public service. I also want to thank our board, our staff, our clergy, our lay leaders, our allies, the founding director, Joseph McKellar, the PICO National Network, because without all of these folks, Faith in New York would not exist, and so this award belongs to you. According to research from Harvard Divinity School, New York City is one of the most spiritually active cities in our nation. And at Faith in New York, we actually believe that if we can activate a portion of the folks that sit on pews and yoga mats weekly and move them into public life, that we can radically change New York City. When Hurricane Sandy hit, it washed the covers off of years of economic and racial injustice faced in our communities. In the wake of the devastation, we came together to demand that elected officials not only rebuild infrastructure, but rebuild lives. Last summer, we brought together over 1,600 people of faith at the Greater Allen AME Cathedral, elected officials and allies from across New York City to make demands concerning the Hurricane Sandy rebuild. And as Arva mentioned, in December 2014, all of these demands were met, and we were able to influence how $950 million of recovery funds were spent, making sure that Sandy survivors' lives were rebuilt through housing and living wage jobs. My organizing mentor, Willie Baptist of the Poverty Initiative, who started out organizing as a young man in the Watts Uprising, always taught me that those most affected by the issues have to be at the forefront of solving them. I, as the executive director of Faith in New York, stand before you tonight as a former foster child, as someone who was born in East New York, Brooklyn, one of the 7 communities in our city that send the most people to prison, as a child who became homeless, and now I'm able to work on affordable housing in my community of East New York. I say all of this to not draw attention to myself, but I say all of this to say that if we're going to build a truly transformative, progressive movement in our city, it's not enough to have base memberships that are low-income and people of color, though that is extremely important. But we have to get to the point where the leadership of our organizations come from the ranks of those most affected by the issues. Across this city, there are women, there are queer young people, there are low-income people, there are foster children who have everything they need to lead in their communities. And sometimes all they need is someone to stand by their side or someone to get out of their way so they can emerge into their leadership. And that is what true organizing is about. Our work concerning the Hurricane Sandy rebuild expanded our vision from one where we focused on the Queens and Brooklyn to one where we said we're going to, in the words of Dr. King, build the beloved city where all, not some New Yorkers live in dignity, We are focusing our work on ending mass incarceration, economic dignity, immigration reform, and combating racism while creating white allies in the movement for justice. And the North Star Fund has been a critical partner in this journey, and so again, we thank you. Through providing rapid response funds at critical points in the Sandy campaign, to guidance from staff in how to strategically work with elected officials, the North Star Fund has been there every step of the way. When I was voted Faith in New York Executive Director in August, I was able to pick up the phone and call Hugh and just brainstorm as we were getting tight in the Sandy negotiations, and that was personally beneficial to me. And I don't know too many funders that won't just fund you, but also will help guide you. So in closing, I just want to leave you with this quote from Reverend Dr. King. Love is creative and redemptive. Love builds up and unites. Hate tears down and destroys. The aftermath of the fight fire with fire method is bitterness and chaos. The aftermath of the love method is reconciliation and the creation of the beloved community. Physical force can repress, restrain, coerce, and destroy, but it cannot organize anything permanent. Only love can do that. And so let's party tonight. And let's get back to the work of building the beloved city tomorrow. Thank you so much.
North Star Fund has been a proud funder of the Justice Committee for a decade, and we continue to be inspired by the progress they have made to keep our city safe. It is with great appreciation that we present to them the 2015 Frederick Douglass Award.
Hi, so I'm Loyda Colon. I'm co-director of the Justice Committee along with Yosan here. That's right. It's been a very long journey for us. The Justice Committee is actually about a little over 30 years old, but in that time we've taken many forms. When our founder, Richie Perez, former Young Lord, mentor, leader of Justice Committee passed away, it hit the organization really hard. And it was really a make or break moment for us. We had to decide, are we going to continue this organization or are we going to shut it down? And it wasn't an easy decision to make, but you know, the Young Lords always said, pa'lante, siempre pa'lante. And that's forward, always forward. So we decided that although we didn't really know exactly what we were doing or how to run an organization, that we were going to try, because we had to try. Members of our communities were being attacked, members of our communities were being killed by NYPD, by racist violence, and so we had no choice but to fight. We had to stand for our community, for our people. With that said, Justice Committee was in a period of rebuilding, and we have to thank the North Star for standing by us at that time, for supporting us when we were just trying to learn how to walk again. It meant the world to us, and also our members who stuck with us. We have members who joined Justice Committee when they were like 15 years old and are now parents and having children. I mean, I think that speaks to not only the commitment from our members, but the importance of the work being done. We would also not have been able to be standing here today if it wasn't for our members' dedication. They're brave. We have some brave members who not only train New Yorkers on their rights, but who go out in their communities at night to do cop watch, to monitor police activity in their neighborhoods. And it's a scary thing to do. You don't have the security of a protest. That is a scary thing to do, to walk around with anywhere from 3 to 5 people and pick up a camera to the police who don't want you filming them and asserting your right. So our members are just brave, to do that, and so are all of our allies in the Malcolm X grassroots movement. And I know earlier it was said that Justice Committee started the model of Cop Watch. We did not. It actually came from the Black Panther Party, and we're just carrying the legacy. With that said, I also want to mention that, you know, it was said that Justice Committee works with families whose loved ones have been killed by the cops. And these families are among the strongest and bravest people I've ever met. They lose a loved one, a child, and they continue to fight. Right now, we're working with families across New York State. We recently launched a campaign for a special prosecutor in the state of New York. What's important to note is that the families who have launched this campaign, who have already been fighting for years, some of them 20 years, but who have been fighting for their children, are actually not doing this for themselves. They don't benefit from a special prosecutor. They're doing it for every single family that they know is going to come, for the future families whose children are going to be killed by the cops. They want to make sure that these families get some level of fairness in their fight for justice. The families that I want to acknowledge who are here tonight is Valerie Bell, the mother of Sean Bell. We have Constance Malcolm, the mother of Ramarley Graham. We have Cynthia Sproul, the niece of Alberta Sproul. Cynthia Howell, the niece of Alberta Sproul. And Margarita Rosario, the mother of Anthony Rosario and aunt of Hilton Vega. And with that, just thank you so much.